Then I will join. So welcome in the name of the Society of Knowledge Management in Germany to our yearly annual event. The first time that we are doing an international track with participants from around the globe and in cooperation with the KM Global Network. And welcome, Andrew Hurd. You're organizing a project around the KM landscape, which we actually call KM landscape around the whole globe. And you will highlight what you're doing, and then I'll give to you the session.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Just sort of logistically and organizationally, in the room, do you have post-it notes? We have a Miro board for those who are attending virtually. Do you have pad and paper or post-it notes that you can use? Because that would be essential for the working.
We have cards here. We have
wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So what I would suggest is that as you are, you make one group. If you get to be 6 people, then I would split you into 2 groups in the room. So basically the way today will work, and I'll recap on this, but there will be a virtual element, which will be myself, Dawn and Stuart, and anyone else who joins online. And then there will be a real group, if you like, which are the people in the room. And this is supposed to be very interactive. So this is for sure not a download in any shape or form. This is an interaction, and those who participate in the KM landscape will be familiar with this interactivity, if you like. So let me just go to the presentation. Hopefully you see that full screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So the concept of today is exploring KM without borders in the co-creation of the KM landscape. And the landscape is supposed to be open, it is supposed to be diverse, it is supposed to be inclusive, but we know that there are limitations to that. So today's workshop is really kind of, in a way, exploring that, because it's the first time we're really challenging the language barrier, which I think is important. For those who haven't been part of the KM landscape, this is an image I use. It is a path that we are working on together, and we're talking and working on that path to make it easier for others to tread. And the chasm, if you like, in the path is really the whole concept of today. Today is really saying, what do we need within KM, or what do you need through KM, or what do others need from KM that allow us to bridge that gap? What's holding us back? You know, if you are walking along that mountain and you come across, you know, a sheer drop right in front of you, you're gonna stop and you're gonna say, I need something to help me bridge that gap. And so that's really what we are exploring today. And I wanted to highlight the summary. This is the only slide with so many words, and I do apologize, but it is deliberate. What I did was I just wrote a summary of what we were trying to do today. So the KM landscape is open source. It provides a set of term lists. It reflects the knowledge management landscape as it is. It's open for public use. It is a work in progress. And at the moment, phase 2 is exploring needs for KM and KM for needs. So both who needs KM, but also what does KM need? What's it looking for? And in the context of this international stream, focus on language-based accessibility. And I deliberately translated as best I could, with some help, this bulleted list on the left-hand side into German on the right side. We try to be inclusive and diverse using, you know, cross-language cultural co-creation. And we reflect the landscape itself through terms, phrases, and ideas. Acknowledge and confronting the limitation that the KM landscape is exclusively in the English language. And, you know, this is the first slide I've created that has ever created something or put something in another language. And yet we state that we engage KM voices from around the world, but we have to acknowledge that those voices are exclusively English voices. Now, they might be culturally from, in this case, a particular country or represent a particular perspective, but we communicate in English. Yeah, so I put the translation on the right-hand side more as a prompter, you know, for those who understand both. Is it right and why is it not right? For those who only understand one, it shows the barrier. Even though they are exactly the same, it shows that barrier that language can sometimes create. Also, the complexity of language. So the person who helped me translate this, the first thing he asked me is this a formal or informal version of? Because if I'm going to say this informally, I would use certain language, and if I'm doing it formally, I would use other language. And even that we don't see, you know, in the way that we talk about knowledge, or indeed knowledge management. And again, I try to translate to encourage you to share your voice. You know, normally I would say in English, we would like to hear your voice in this workshop, and I encourage everybody who's physically in the room to share their voice on the post-it notes. So that is really the introduction. And this whole session is trying to understand your needs, your perception of needs, either collectively as a group or individually as a person. And I will explore these in the next slide, but basically we will end up with either a physical room, which is the top with post-it notes, or you said you've got little boards that you can write on with ideas about that, or we'll use the Miro board, and that's what whoever is online, I think there's a few people online at the moment, we will go jump to the Miro board and we will discuss that. Okay, so there'll basically be two breakout groups. One is virtual, one is real. Yeah, so we're looking at the needs for KM, and the needs really break into three. I want to remind you, they break into three aspects. One is, what's in it for you? What does knowledge management give to you or needs to give to you? What are you looking for? You know, it's not uncommon that people say, I need my CEO to listen to me as a knowledge manager. You know, that's what I need. Or I need a job. I'm looking for, I know, I'm a KMer, I'm unemployed, I need a job. You know, so some of them are very, very personal. The other is, you know, how does KM need to shift? And in the session we've just come out of, you know, the really relatively strong language, like, you know, KM needs to really evolve. It needs to really change. And in that change, it may be quite radical. The transformation may be quite radical. And then finally, who needs KM? Who really needs KM? You know? And the example I give is in Africa, there's a new body which is called KM for agriculture. So here there is a clear need. The agricultural establishment, the whole body, you know, legislation all the way down to the local farmer, they need knowledge management because knowledge is being lost. Maybe indigenous knowledge is being lost onto how to grow certain crops because you have monocultures that are, you know, removing land that's needed for these other culture, these other, you know, farming ways that provide needed nutrients and other things, medicines even, to the local people. So that's a very specific need. But again, what I ask you to do is have a dialogue about what are those needs, and you could split into those three areas. What do I need? You know, do you need more work? Do you need work full stop? Do you need more resources? Do you need mentoring? You know, what is it? And then what does KM need itself? And you might put communities of practice in KM, for instance. I need cumulative practice to be more open or more exclusive or more focused or whatever. And then who needs KM? Why don't they know it? And how can we embrace it? So I'm hoping that's clear, because I'd like to jump straight into the co-creation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I see we have 4 people in the room and maybe a facilitator. So I would suggest in the room, you come together as one group.
Yeah.
Okay. You may want to go into pairs. I mean, do as you want, and what they always often say is that there's this strange dynamic that the smaller group you have, the more intimate and more interactive the dialogue. So you've now got 5 people. So maybe you do need a 3 and a 2. Yeah. And really get into it, and be personal about it. This means something to me. Try to, you don't need to be generic about it. This is the work I do. This is the problem I have. This is what I need to shift, because that's what will make the KM landscape have meaning if we address those. And I can give you one example. There are many, but I can give you one example of a need, and it came through Stuart, who's actually online, and he said, I think knowledge management should have its own identity in Wikipedia. At the moment, it doesn't. It's not a standalone discipline. It's actually under library and information sciences. And I think it should be raised one level. And in order to do that, we need terms. We need terms to say what it is, what disciplines it relates to, in order to create that. And it's simply just a simple widget. So that's just a very practical example of how can we elevate it in one area. And you may say Wikipedia doesn't matter to me. Fine, but that's just an example. Okay, so I'm gonna basically, if you mute us or something, how this will work, because we online will form a little breakout group using Teams, and you probably don't want to hear what we're talking about. So if you come back in half an hour, if that's good, maybe 25 minutes. Yeah.
We have only 30 minutes left, then the session is over. So I would suggest a shorter time. Like
okay, so let's
minutes,
do
20 minutes.
20 minutes then.
Yeah. 15 minutes. Yeah, 15.
15.
We are ready in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
I love the efficiency. Okay, so I'm assuming the room can't hear me, and Dawn and Stuart, we are now a breakout room. So let me share my screen, which will be the Miro board.
My camera was a little off from the last session. There we go.
Oh, I like your new haircut, Dawn.
Oh, I got it short again. Yeah, this is more me.
Yeah, it looks good.
This is how it normally is. I just pandemic, I grew it out, and then I was too lazy to do short again.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. Let's just give us one board. Just give me 1 second whilst I sort this out. There we go. Stuart, you are still pushing yourself, but that's, I guess, you've got that under control. So, okay, share my screen, window, Miro. Okay, so we can do this many ways, but Dawn, how about we use your image and we let Stuart explore it, and then we have a narrative based on that. Is that okay? Does that sound so?
You have it, right?
Yeah, I have it. I just need to basically drag and drop it. Dun, 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 dun. Let me go smaller now. Now I sorted everything out. I'm doing something which is, here we go. Yeah,
Stu, you had a session too. How was your session, Stu?
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a couple. I had 3 people online and about 12 people in the room, I think, and they're really engaged. They were good. It was nice.
Yeah, I couldn't join. I was on a few yesterday.
Sorry?
I couldn't join today earlier, but I was on a few yesterday. It seemed to be a very well-run event.
Yeah, that's excellent. I spoke at the KM Australia one on Monday, and then I had a few words to say about KM Landscape and that today in today's session. And then I went to this rooftop bar where we had a meetup in Melbourne. And then I came home and then did this, and now it's 11:15 at night. So
Okay. So, okay, so we've now asked you to be imaginative, you know, open-minded, and all you want to do is go to bed.
just give me a second, will you guys? Just quick.
Yep. So, Dawn, I thought it was really, the session was really, really interesting, the way it worked out. I thought, you know, it's you know, the depth of thinking, the depth of thought, the depth of visualization, I thought was really amazing.
Yeah, it's good to break the old patterns of just spewing out words and writing them down, right? So
yeah, and I do find that in these sessions there is always a kind of organic theme. And I'm not sure it's because you're dealing with organic materials like paper, like clay, like potato, you know, the fact that if you've actually got your hands in it, then it's natural to make that link. But I do think we try to ignore that almost in our everyday life because organic is complicated.
right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, set the stage for Stu. Tell him what we were doing so he knows what's going on.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry about that. My daughter just came home and I just wanted to quickly say hello.
Cool, no, that's no problem. So you see the image in front of you.
Yep.
So we basically gave, in this case, Dawn, 15 minutes to come up with a 2D something or a 3D something that expressed a need for KM. And then Brittany and I were faced with this because we didn't see her making it. So after 15 minutes, it was suddenly revealed, the big reveal. And that's exactly what you have. So this represents a need for KM. And what we would ask you to do is try to translate that into what you think that means as far as KM is concerned. Now you've got the full visual and you need to look at all of the elements, and only to also understand that on the left-hand side, there's a skateboard, but on the right-hand side out of the picture, there's a racing car, a very nice blue or green racing car.
I can show him.
Okay. Oh, you can probably show them on the yeah. So, okay, so I make it a bit, I make it.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay.
Right, and
so
then what I'm going to, as you narrate, I am going to write stuff down. So go ahead.
Right. So it seems to me that we've got Lucas on the left because he's got hair, and me on the right because I'm in the racing car, which just makes sense. Everything's right in the world. And so both are wheeled vehicles. So there's similar domains but different. And you've got a bridge between the domains with writing there as sort of the medium between the two sides of the bridge. And you've got infrastructure there that's kind of looks like wings, but I'm assuming that's like the suspension sort of thing to hold the bridge up, so that the knowledge of the the skateboard person can be transferred across and reuse that knowledge in the racing car industry. So KM is the builder of the bridge and the infrastructure that allows these two people to find each other and to transfer the knowledge across industries.
Interesting. Yeah.
Did I get it right or wrong?
No,
there is no right.
There is no right or wrong. My thought was it is a
Okay.
bridge. It is a bridge, you're right. And they have different different, they come at it with different vehicles, different, now I'm thinking in Swedish, different pre-existing capabilities. And then the one has
Yep.
a ramp, the
Yep.
one has stairs with a railing, so it's very different. It could be different KMers, it could be management and line workers, it could be different countries, whatever. But yeah, we need a bridge across, build
Yeah.
that. And then it's actually held up by, that's a note card for a talk I did in Copenhagen, but it's also got words or terms on it, right? So we're trying to build a common language to hold up this, which is kind of like the whole KM landscape project. So that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
nice. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I was
only-
just going to use paper, but I couldn't figure out how to build a bridge with paper. So I went in the other room and I was like, oh, there's a skateboard park toy here. So
And it's amazing what you can create just
It's
incidentally.
very good.
Yeah, I saw the fan as an open book, but from the edge of the book. So I saw that as knowledge. That's how I knew,
yeah.
for me, how I knew it as knowledge.
Gotcha. Okay.
and I didn't
I was-
intend that. That was my first attempt to make a bridge before I found other materials. So it was kind of the suspension thing that Stuart was talking about.
But who has stairs and ramp on their desk? I mean, I just think
No,
it's
I
wonderful.
went out to the other room to get more paper and it's a skate park toy for those finger skateboards.
Is that
Okay.
finger
Ah,
skateboards? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I almost threw it out a while ago, but I'm like, maybe I'll keep it. And then these, Stuart, I told them in the other meeting, these are actually speaker gifts from Kurt and Intra Team.
Oh,
They're very famous Danish things. You can buy them in design stores. They're called Hoptimist. Like optimist with an H. So I just got two different ones for two different. They're always on my desk.
nice.
They're kind of cute.
So what needs
cute.
are we not addressing then? So we've had something inspired, you know, are we addressing our KM needs? Are we at a point where we're kind of beyond expressing that? You know, we're kind of, as in we kind of have a momentum that, how do
Well-
we explore that side of it? Because this is very someone else, isn't it? This image is, we have two sets of individuals, it's someone else. What about us? What do we have?
Well, we need the
It-
bridge.
It was, mate, it was
right?
me as soon as the race car appeared. Just want to be really clear about that.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I didn't think about the connection, but as soon as I said, I thought, aha, he's going to jump on the race car.
My son's got his race weekend, his last race weekend for the year next Friday. So I'm really looking forward to it. Hanging out.
I'm sure you will. Yeah. So what about that? What about
I think there's
KM?
a standing need. There's always going to be a need to build this bridge. The bridge is
Right.
never finished.
Yeah.
New people are
got-
coming that need to get on this bridge. We need to figure out, how to build it make it accessible to them.
Can I just admit that I'm always frustrated when people say you can't manage knowledge, because you can. That's what building the bridge is. You're building the infrastructure that the knowledge flows through. You're managing it in the same way that you manage building a garden, right? You don't actually like pull a plant out of the ground and blow on it to make it bigger. It grows by itself, but it grows because you fertilized it and watered it and built a fence to keep the possums out.
Now you said possums. Yeah, I'm really listening. It was interesting because the other picture in our group was a butterfly. And that was, obviously there are some very immediate, the emerging of the butterfly from the caterpillar. But when Brittany did that, she was really trying to emphasize that in the transition from a bug to a butterfly, there's almost complete destruction of both the caterpillar and into something that isn't a butterfly. So, that is a reminder maybe of KM, is that, maybe we need KM to be robust in this transition and not to fight the change. In other words, if a caterpillar remains a caterpillar, it'll be a dead caterpillar. It won't be a live butterfly. Do you see what I mean?
I love that.
But that's quite tough, and we do co-create. We have communities of practice that are very, let's say, organic, but also quite structured, quite led, yep. But the topics are community driven. So there's a real distance between the actual center of control and so let me give you an example, no criticism, but for instance, if we look at SIKM, the topics come from the community, but the way they're classified is done by one person. It's not that there's a community vote that says, I think these are our sets of terms and this is how we classify things. No, someone determines where they're going.
Yeah. Oh, we got a whiteboard.
Okay.
I love it.
So getting serious.
So I actually did that on Tuesday, Andrew. We had our first AI workshop with Microsoft, and we ended up with 4 potential projects. And then at the end of the workshop, they went around the room and they got everyone to vote on which one of the projects they thought we should go forward. And I looked around the room and I realized I'd been pushing this pretty hard. So I just thought my relationship with them and my need for them to own this is way more important than which one of these problems we solve. So I actually took my hands off the wheel and I said, you know what? This has been a fantastic workshop. I'm happy for you guys to decide which one you want to do. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good with all 4 of them. And so, I could have, as the knowledge manager with the AI background, I could have said, we need to do this one because of this and this. Turns out they chose the one I wanted anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's the one they chose, so they're more invested. So
correct. Exactly right.
Yep. So I think they said 15 minutes. So do we want to conclude on anything? Because I think that's the 15. I think, unless
it looks like they're coming.
I think he's looking at the screen. I think.
Do you hear?
Okay.
Do you hear us?
Yes.
Do you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay.
You are back.
So we have our results here. I don't know. Maybe I have to go a little bit. Perfect. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, we can't wait to hear them. They look awesome.
Yeah. So go ahead in the room and you can explain. Firstly, are they needs for you? Are they needs for KM, or are they needs for others who can use KM? And then explore the dialogue.
Well, basically was a mixture of both, but more generally, I would say it was needs for KM also, and we identified several topics which concern us in our different contexts, and I can just read it. We haven't clustered it in any way, or so we were already still almost finished, but we didn't find anything where we agreed on some things we were still discussing on.
Cool. So if you could take a photograph with a phone and send me it, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll do.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
I just read it out loud, or?
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we best practice sharing across cultures. Maybe someone will want to comment on it. Well, we said that it was basically like we came to an understanding that we have with different cultural backgrounds, we have different understandings of things, and therefore also on the basis of our knowledge and,
Yes.
and on the knowledge management. And
So for that,
yeah.
before you move on,
Yeah.
did you include language as part
Yeah,
of culture,
yeah,
or
yeah.
is it separate?
That was actually the one of the points also. We were talking about language, about the language as a basis for the communication across cultures, and also using English, and that also with AI as a great factor coming, mega trend which will come so rapidly, and it's based on large language models, language in a way, and also like it's based on a model which is re-identified as predominated by Anglo-American understandings of things. So that was the basis for this one thing also. Was this one topic
Can I
also?
ask a quick question?
Yeah.
On LinkedIn the other day, they mentioned that I was going to be speaking at the camp, and I tried to make a joke in German using ChatGPT about dangerous half knowledge. Did that translate, that joke?
I didn't get the joke actually.
There you go. So you're right. ChatGPT doesn't work. Thank you very much.
No. I didn't get. I didn't see the joke. I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I
Okay.
weren't present. I weren't present. Yeah.
No
maybe
worries.
ask Pavel.
Haven't seen it either.
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay. Carry on.
Then the next thing is KM needs social. It's a little bit connected. Needs social anthropologists for translations, for the translation of cultures, language, understanding. Yeah,
That's interesting. I work in the space domain, and we work with national space agencies, including the German one, DLR, but also France, so CNES. And we produced a glossary for our standards, and we asked them the question, do you want this translated? And initially they said yes, but then they came back and said no. And the reason is that they wanted a single standard of glossary terms and definitions that they could refer to, and then they could, what they call, negotiate the translation internally. And for them, the French, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, translation is a negotiation, and it actually enables greater understanding because of the mechanism of translating and then debating on that translation, which is a really unique perspective. I had always thought translation is it's transactional, whereas they see it as a relationship based. Please, Pavel.
Yeah, just one comment to that. In Switzerland, we have 4 national languages. And of course, we have all laws in 4 languages as well. But if we have a certain law, it is always told which language is the correct one and which would be used in the courts, because it's too different.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice insight.
Well, I should continue because we have limited time left. I'm trying to see. There also was decolonization as a card. I don't know from which. Yeah, Gülsüm.
I'm working in development cooperation. Hi, my name is Gülsüm. So for me, there's always this question on whatever I work. It's a topic that I have in mind, and that's where I was coming from. And I'm seeing the need, and I see. Many people see the issue with information in rarer languages disappear even more because the AI large language models are dominated by Anglo-Saxon sources and language.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that because yeah, working as I do, I have Spanish colleagues, Italian colleagues, German colleagues, French colleagues. So it is a temptation to say, the language we work in is English. Let's translate, let's try and work with decolonization. Let's translate into another language. But you can quite easily translate from English into, say, Spanish. Is that the language of decolonization? No. French? No. Dutch? No. In reality, no. That we look around the globe, I mean, I remember talking to Kalani and I said, I've got this fact sheet from the French KM group. And he said, oh, that's all right. I can translate that. And I said, that just smacks of the reason you speak French is because of colonization, and it almost seems reverse that we're going to, an African person to translate something which is not their native language, and I think that might be one of my kind of longer term aims is to say, let's try to choose a language that is not something that we need to decolonize. You know what I mean? It's not going to reinforce that colonization, even if it's not what we call the Western world English, and it may reach more people, but I wonder whether there's a dynamic there that we need to look at. Pavel, please.
Actually, in Switzerland, we like to be colonized because we learn in the German part French. It's compulsory,
Right.
and in the French part, they have to learn German. But actually, if we meet, we always speak English. So our colonized language, we like it.
Okay.
Maybe we
Point
should
of common reference. Yes,
maybe we
please.
should continue because we want to hear from you also, from your results. So I read, ask who contributed. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so here, these meetings, we see that knowledge management has to translate into objectives of leaders, of executives, and we have to learn their language. And that means that knowledge management has to translate from knowledge management into management of knowledge value. That was one of the thing. And then we have also an innovation aspect. Whoa.
I mean, it totally connects to what you just said. I think we have to make strategic decisions, and we should base these on very good knowledge and arrive at good decisions. So that's maybe one purpose of knowledge management.
Yeah.
Okay, now I think that's for us, and we would like to see what you have worked on.
Okay, let me share the mirror board. And Dawn or Stuart, do you want to jump in? I think everything's relatively visible there.
Yeah, so Dawn made this little bridge to try and convey an important part of knowledge management and the KM landscape. And
Yeah,
so
not
we
during
took it
this
in
meeting.
turns.
It was a previous meeting we just had with Andrew, one of the KM landscape meetings. So you don't think I was able to do this in the 5 minutes we had. So we had this picture to share with Stuart. Yeah.
So I felt like it was a bit of a Rorschach test, the ink blot. What do you see here? And your traumas are revealed. So I was a bit nervous about doing this, but what I felt was that there's a little racing car just off the image there on the right-hand side, and there's a skateboard there. So I thought, well, they've both got wheels. Maybe these are related but different domains, and knowledge management has built a bridge, a suspension bridge, using information, the written information underneath there, to transfer the knowledge from one side to another in order for the racing car driver to learn how the skateboard works or what technology's in there, and then reuse that technology maybe for suspension setups or something in his race car, and he reapplies the knowledge in a new domain. That was how I saw it.
Do you from the room now you see that and you understand, or you see an explanation? Is that what you saw in that image? What would you see in the room from that image as it representing knowledge management needs for knowledge management?
You mean if we correspond with your
Exactly.
findings?
Yeah, or and anything, any reflections around the room? What do you, is it meaningless? Does it have some meaning? Could you translate it in the context of knowledge management? Does it reflect anything that you know and see?
I can help you a little bit as well. One other
Yeah.
thing I was looking at was that the individuals are coming at it from different directions, but also they have different conditions, right? Or different things they're taking with them. The one side has a skateboard, the other side has a car. The one side has stairs with a railing, the other side has a ramp, right? So people are coming at it in different ways. And then we need a shared language to support this coming together. That's what that is with the words underneath.
And that could equally reflect the cultural or the linguistic differences, you know. Yeah. Please, Pavel, go ahead.
What is the meaning of the welded paper on the top?
We had two interpretations. One was it's a kind of structure that supports the bridge. So it's like, and that analogy that knowledge management needs a structure. Myself and Brittany, we saw it as a kind of open book. It was the book of knowledge that was opened up, and those were the pages you could see that they were the actual content, and maybe the terms underneath were the sources of that, the language, okay. Maybe.
Yeah, thanks. Understood.
But strictly, I mean, there is no strict interpretation. And what we did in the meeting before was we had the creator not talk about their creation, but everybody else had to say what their creation meant to them. You know, so it might be interesting to say, you know, you in the room to say, which person am I? Do I feel like I'm the low-tech skateboard person? Or do I feel like I'm the high-tech racing car trying to look at low-tech means that have better meaning and more tangible sort of, you could even say, you know, I've got the human aspect on the left-hand side and the AI aspect on the right-hand side. You could, you know, very high-tech AI, low-tech, indeed, as this is a relatively low-tech model. So there is no, and I think that's what the KM landscape is about. Maybe what I would conclude on, because I know you have to leave, but I would say, you know, this model, I think, is very much about the KM landscape, that there are different perspectives, you know, there's different language, different interpretations, and we're just trying to embrace that as best we can so that people can navigate, they can cross the bridge, they can use it usefully, and it meets their needs. Yeah. If you are breaking up, I would just like to thank everybody for coming. I know you've had a long day, long afternoon, so very much I appreciate it. I would love a photograph of the board, so that we can use those terms and add it to the KM landscape in our considerations. And if I stop sharing and reshare, I will send the outcomes. Sorry, I need to share and then, but I'll send the outcomes to you that we have got from today's meeting, but also the KM landscape will use those outcomes as well. So as a community of practice, if you want to use some of the outcomes yourself, that would be a good thing. But equally, we will then use those as indicators of use cases. And I do believe there is a fundamental dialogue on language. I agree cultural includes that, but I do think we need to talk about that more and better. And I think that's what you opening up to the international stream is all about. And I'm very thankful and grateful to be part of that.
Yeah, thank you for contributing and for this discussion. And we should continue the dialogue, and you will get the the picture of our results as soon as possible, which means like maybe tomorrow, because we're in the closing session, and then I will just fall into my bed. Actually not, I'm going and somewhere to celebrate something else, but also KM related, but then tomorrow I will be sitting in my bed and maybe doing a little bit email, and maybe you'll be lucky and have the results. Thank you.
There's no rush. And thank you to Lucas as well for his efforts.
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. Thank you thank you, Lucas, also in my name here with this contribution to the KM Global Track. And I hope that we will continue in the future also to share events across language barriers.
Totally.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay. thank you,
Great
everybody.
event, you guys. I was
Yeah.
happy I could join.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye then.
Bye.